Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
Oh, wow, what a tremendous show we have today. It's my favorite show every month when we get together with Olivia Ramos. She's the founder of Deepblocks and is my favorite futurist. So we're going to have a tremendous show. We're going to talk about the future as it impacts real estate today with Olivia Ramos. We'll get right to that as soon as we go to break and come back because, well, that's what we do. So right back with Olivia Ramos talking about the future as it applies to real estate. First, Mr. Mendoza, take it away. All right, everybody, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne. Down in the Keys, well, they sell all the nameplates down there. Up in Gainesville, well, that's where you can find their store that sells Audis. What do all those cars have in common? Well, besides being great cars, they come with a Warren Henry advantage. It's a whole list of great benefits that you get when you buy your car from Warren Henry. And it includes things like key replacement. You know, it costs about $100 to replace one of those fancy keys these days, all the way down to they'll give you the best price guarantee. And if you don't like your car, you have 72 days to return it. Guess what? Nobody returns their car because they all love them. Join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service. Always Warren Henry.
It's time to stop the hate and spread some love. You are beautiful, you're smart, you are awesome, and you never have to change for anybody. You have the voice and you have the power. We are so much stronger when we come together. It's your choice, so choose to be inspired. Choose to be accepting, be strong, be brave, be awesome, be daring, be kind. Choose kindness.
That's right. If you want to do a real estate deal and you want to have a kind execution, give me a call. That's right. Debt, pref equity, stretch construction loans, apartments, industrial, retail, office. That's right. If you need capital, I can help you today. You need a bridge loan, you need a pre-dev loan, you need a land loan, got that too. High leverage, got it available. Call me or DM me. Why? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
You know, one of the joys I get out of my life is when I get the opportunity to stretch my brain and learn new things. It happens every month when we're joined on our show by futurist and technology expert and gosh darn it, one of the smartest people I know, Olivia Ramos. Olivia is here today on the show. Welcome back, Olivia. Olivia is the founder of Deepblocks. Hey, Olivia, real quick, what's Deepblocks?
Well, thank you, Jim, for having me. Deepblocks is a software that's using all the data around real estate to combine into a single platform so that you can canvas entire cities and find properties that meet development potential and then model them quickly and see if it makes sense to invest.
You know, people used to pay 25 to 50 grand to get a workup and get the market study. You know, how much does it cost somebody to just get that done on your service?
So right now we include 43 cities. There'll soon be 100 cities. So the price right now is $18,000 a year, and it will go up to $36,000 a year once we have 100 cities covered.
Yeah, but that's cheap. That's what it costs to just do one deal last in the back in the day. And now for that kind of money, I can do it all over in all those cities. But listen, that's not really why we're here to talk today. We're here to talk today about something that you've got on the agenda. I never know what it is, and boy, do I love it when you spring it on me. So what's up this week, Olivia?
So this week, I thought we'd talk about smart contracts. These are self-executing contracts on the blockchain. And I have a series of case studies or use cases that I want to bring and see what you think about it, Jim.
Oh, very cool. I'm not familiar with this, so let's roll.
Awesome. Okay, so right now, most exchanges between a company and a customer require a middle person. In the future, this might not be the case. So I'm going to give you a simple example, not necessarily in real estate, but then we'll go into more real estate related examples.
Sure.
Let's say I buy a plane ticket from American Airlines, which I did recently. And let's say American Airlines cancels the flight, which they did recently. And so I was on the phone. I was actually in Panama, and I was on the phone for 2 hours waiting to see what's going to happen with this flight. And in the future, that's not going to be the case. I had to buy a different flight. It was a mess. So in the future, my plane ticket is going to be part of a smart contract that says if American Airlines cancels the flight, immediately my money goes back into the bank, and not just what I paid for it, but the value of the ticket that day. So that's going to be in place, and automatically I don't have to worry about it. I could just buy another ticket because I can count on that money being instantly in the bank.
Well, let me ask you this. So a corollary to that, or an add-on, would be that you could probably check a box and just get booked on the next available flight out of town as a make good, I would think.
So I mean, to not just, say all bad things about American Airlines, they do that. But if the flight doesn't make sense for you, it requires speaking to them. It requires waiting for 7 to, who knows, 11 days. They might not even do a refund. So there's a lot of uncertainty, right? So you might be paying twice for the same ticket if you have to buy it through another airline.
It's horrible. But again, I think that whichever one of the service providers comes up with a way to make it so that it's, I'm going to have to use the term, artificially intelligent, because it knows you and it knows what you need.
Well, I think
that'll start to work.
The first step is to have an automated contract and to not require an intermediary we agree that the best thing about the smart contracts, you agree at the beginning what the terms are and what gets triggered if certain things happen, so that you could just count on, regardless of the situation, that you know what the outcome would be. Like in this case, you're going to get your money back instantly if somebody cancels the flight.
Oh, I think this is tremendous. I think, I'll give you another example. Moving companies doing your move, which I just recently dealt with. Another one, leasing an apartment from a big apartment operator.
Okay, so that was my next example, actually. Imagine owning a rental property, right? And all of the tenants agree to a smart contract where the money gets automatically sent to the landlord's account without having to collect rent, without having to wait for the person to bring it in. If by some reason the money is not in the account, there could be already an agreed interest on the late fee, like you would a credit card. So you don't have to have people knocking on doors. It will be automatically done.
And I think that would make everybody more efficient. And we're always talking about how to make housing more affordable. This would lower the costs.
Why do you think it would lower the cost?
Lowers the operation costs.
Yeah. How much cost do you think?
It gives me also, I'm sorry for interrupting, Olivia.
No.
It also gives me the money faster, which means that I can use it faster, earn interest on it faster. And while interest may not be a big component, when you're multiplying it by 20, 30, 50, 150,000 units, it becomes a material number. And then cash management becomes a very big part of it.
Yeah, and I think really being able, it removes the uncertainty, right? Like it doesn't matter. You don't have to worry if somebody's going to pay or not. If they don't pay, they're going to pay interest, and they've already agreed to it.
Oh,
so
for me, the tenant, I don't want to know from it. Once a year, I got to go adjust my payment. And other than that, I'm on autopilot. All I got to do is make sure the money's in the account. Shame on me if it isn't.
Exactly.
And if it isn't,
So
then it
when you're
becomes
dealing
like
with,
a agreed upon debt instrument. Ooh, this is tremendous. And once
so
it's
let
an
me
agreed
ask you
upon debt
something.
instrument, oh, I'm going to keep
Yeah.
going. Once it
No,
becomes an agreed
yeah.
upon debt instrument, and there's a portfolio of people that are a little bit late, then you can have the I'll make it up, the Avalon Bay credit sale that you could sell on Wall Street as oh God, I can't believe I'm about to go this far. As a collateralized debt obligation. Oh my God.
Yeah, and you can also have more things on that contract saying, for example, and I'm just now kind of imagining what this could look like. Let's say as part of that smart contract, you've already agreed to the entire process of eviction, as if all those 6 months of paperwork has been compressed, right? So you have to leave if you don't pay.
Yeah, I'm not sure you're going to get there on that issue because I'm not sure. That to me is more of a consumer protection issue. There could be issues that trigger the eviction that are potentially, I'm not searching for words, I'm searching to say it right, that are inconsistent with local and federal government regulations. For instance, right now they're proposing that people that are on federally subsidized apartments are not able to be evicted, that they have to go through a different process, and that's just been proposed. So I think that this is a tremendous idea for the codification of the process. I think it's a great idea for streamlining the situation, but I also think that we need to be careful to make sure that individual rights are still protected. Woo,
absolutely, absolutely. And there are processes to have this done, and like you mentioned, these processes might be different for different sectors of whether it's market rate, luxury, affordable housing, and depending on those, the execution of those contracts can be different, not unlike how the government deals with it today.
Well, I think this is a great place to stop and take a break, and then we'll be right back with some more stuff that you have planned for me, or I see you hiding in the bushes there with some great ideas, and I can't wait to hear them and give you my visceral quick response. This is always my favorite show every month. All right, Mr. Mendoza, it's your time for the show. Rock the world. Hey, this is Jim Freed. Remember, always reach out to me. I'm always looking to help people move forward. You're hearing me with Olivia Ramos, who's one of my top contacts in the real estate business. She stretches my brain every single time we talk. Let me tell you who other people that are smart that I know, and those are the folks behind Warren Henry. I want to make sure I give a shout out to Eric Day, Larry Zinn, Samantha Wolf, the whole team, Abe Cohn, all my good friends over there at Warren Henry. Remember, when you're looking to lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Forgot Maytal Stark. She's the person that keeps my car running and is the person that I interface with all the time over there in service. Remember, Warren Henry has Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne in their beautiful facility up there. It's really clean and wonderful. I love it up there. They have great coffee, too. Down in the Keys, they sell all their nameplates, and up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. What do all these cars have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. That means you get complimentary, all kinds of complimentary stuff. They help you with your key. If you lose your key, they'll make sure you get the best price. And guess what else? If you don't like your car, they give you 3 days to return it. Nobody returns their car because everybody loves them. Join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, lots and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
So tremendous. You know, she helps a lot of my clients every single day. She makes books for them. She does their social media. She makes wonderful, wonderful presentation books as well. And reach out to me if I can help you with a real estate deal. You need some capital? I've got it. Family offices, institutions, lots of groups that want to get into different markets that aren't there yet. So you can be a first mover with them and get a tremendous deal when they try to buy market share. You need JV equity. I've got a group that'll do apartments. They'll do 90% of the equity required. And then I can get you a stretch construction loan for 85%. So you're putting in pennies. You could literally do the deal with grocery stamps. Now, reach out to me if that can help. And when you do reach out to me, there's one thing that always happens. When you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Well, with Olivia Ramos. Olivia is perhaps my favorite show she is my favorite show. I love doing it every month with her. She always stretches my brain with new ideas. We look at the future. We talk about what's going to happen. Olivia is the founder of Deepblocks. She used to work for DARPA. She's one of the smartest, most nimble minds that I've met. Welcome back to the show, Olivia Ramos.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you for having me.
I forgot to add you're my artificial intelligence expert as well.
Thank you.
Welcome. So what else you got for me here? Keep
okay,
going.
We're
automated contracts, I believe. Blockchain contracts.
That's right. So we're discussing smart contracts and different potential use cases within real estate now. So another thing that's been going on with smart contracts, it's been a craze in the crypto industry, the NFTs, right? Using smart contracts to convert artwork, digital artwork, and have that digital artwork have an owner. So as you can imagine, digital artwork could be a JPEG, for example, and
tokenization. We're talking about tokenization.
We're talking about tokenization, right? And you could do that with art, and I'll have an example for an artist that I know, and then we could see how that translates into real
sports
estate.
Collectibles, everything.
Everything, exactly. So the idea is I have this asset, right? And I do a smart contract on that asset that says, if any future sales of these assets happen, I'm going to take 10% as the artist or the original owner. So then I don't have to track how many sales, who sold it to who, was it a secret, was it not, like that. There's no worry about that anymore. Whenever it sells, automatically 10% goes into my bank account. Okay.
That's great.
So, yes. So imagine that now.
This would also apply to music. What a great way for the artists to take control of themselves, finally.
That is very, very true. Like every time
democratization and empowerment.
Yes. So now let's talk about how that could apply in the future for real estate. Like a simple example is I buy a house all cash. So it's all mine. We don't have to get into the complexities of something that's been levered. So I have a house, and now I have, let's say my house is worth $500,000, and now I want some liquidity, and I would have to, let's say I want $100,000 to make an investment on something else. I have to sell the house, buy a house that's $400,000, or get a mortgage or get a loan. But I could also in the future just tokenize the house and sell 20% of that house to anyone who would want to buy it, to a series of smaller buyers. Could be 10,000 smaller buyers for all I know. And they have, through a smart contract, if I collect rent on that house or if I sell that house, they automatically they get the money, that percentage in their
That's
bank account.
fascinating. Because especially in today's world, I think Miami would be a great example. It's impossible for a normal person to afford anything here, at least at the full price. And when you get a mortgage, one of the questions they ask is, anything been borrowed for the mortgage? Another thing is that when you get that mortgage, you're going to have the ability to have this process to be approved on the front end, because the mortgage holder is really looking at the entire real estate as the collateral. So if you're fractionalizing the real estate after they've made the mortgage, it'll be an issue.
Right, but what if you don't need a mortgage anymore because you can go into a marketplace and say, I am putting 50% down on this house. Who wants a token of the house? It's $1,000 buy-in for the other half, and that everybody buys that token. But until the deed is transferred, that money doesn't go into the seller's account.
This
So
would
all
be a
of
way for the shrinking middle class, if it even exists today, to be able to continue to live in a lifestyle that they would wish to become accustomed to. I think this is an amazing innovation that needs to be promoted and distributed throughout the industry in a rapid format. I'd love to get us on. Are you working with the realtors on this already?
No, I am not.
Well, we need to
I'm
start
just-
with that.
Well,
That has to start right away. And in Miami, what a great place. The early adopters down here. We know they work with Andreas.
No, there are a lot of initiatives that are working in that train of thought of, really innovative, not yet tokenization of the asset, but being able to buy a portion of an asset. But I think that there's gonna be tons of use cases.
It's already there. It went from timeshare to fractional ownership. The condo can be broken up in many different ways already. This is the next step. I think this is amazing. This will be adopted. I think that as soon as the technology becomes widely available, that this type of ownership is going to be dramatically rolled out. And by the way, I think it'll drive an increase in valuation dramatically because there'll be a supply and demand issue, and the best tokenized homes will go up in value dramatically, just the way the Airbnb stuff works on them now.
Yeah, and not just homes. This could happen also in commercial real estate. So you can sell a portion of, you can tokenize a commercial property and in a similar way. And then now you own a token of a commercial property that could go up in value over time, and you could sell it later. Everyone has liquidity at that point when it's tokenized.
Well, then you need to set up an exchange for that.
Oh, absolutely. And there will be. In fact, there are. Just so, those tokens will have to be validated. And there are exchanges that accept more experimental tokens rather than Main Street tokens. So I want to talk a little bit about the idea of security of real estate. And I recently learned that there are big issues with title theft and faking of deeds. And
100%. Right now,
so tell me a little bit about that.
When you're trying to receive a wire, it's an enormous fraud. There's people that are fraudulently receiving wires all the time. When I get paid by commission by wire now, the closing agent triple checks, but blockchain can address that.
So I'm talking specifically about the deed itself. So I own a property and I own the deed, and someone makes a copy of that deed and sells my property without me knowing. And now you have a buyer.
That happens.
I know.
It's horrible.
Right. It's a big deal. I didn't realize that. So if all deeds are on the blockchain, that wouldn't happen anymore, because the blockchain is transparent, secure, and there's no way, and time stamped, So there's no way that anyone can mess with that, which is
Well, one second. Let's take a step back for people who know the term but don't understand what it really means. I am going to originate a mortgage. I'm going to use it and put it on the blockchain. What does that really mean?
That means that you tokenize that deed. It's an asset. And now you put that asset on the blockchain. It means it has a very specific ID for that asset that can be searched for and can be validated.
You know,
so as part of a future smart contract, that deed can transfer ownership automatically on the blockchain without a deed company, without, any of that.
Back in the day, right now, they have to go back to basically, you get what's called a title policy. And the title policy usually is built upon itself, but it's done with rudimentary research. And a lot of times I've seen title policies that go all the way back to the Louisiana Purchase. It's really interesting to see those, by the way. So this would allow somebody to, instead of hiring an attorney for whatever it is, all they got to do is say, okay, there it is, blockchain's in place, boom. That's like $100 instead of 1,000.
Or it could be free.
Wow. Well, we'll talk about that right after a break. I can't wait to hear how we're going to do that for free. Mr. Mendoza, rock the world. Hey, everybody. You know who else wins? You give me a call. I'm Jim Freed. And if you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. They're all great cars. They all come with the Warren Henry advantage. What does that mean? Well, that's a whole list of great services that they provide when you buy your car. And where can you buy that car? Well, you can buy it at 151st and Biscayne. That's where they sell Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. In Gainesville, you can get an Audi. Down in the Keys, Key West, well, they've got a great store down there that sells all their nameplates. What do they all have in common? Like I said, they've got the Warren Henry advantage. That's a great suite of services. It includes, if you lose your key, they'll replace it. Those things are $100. You can bring in your car. They don't even have to sell you a new one. They'll buy it from you. They'll guarantee you're getting a great price on it. And do buy your car from them, you get 3 days to return it. Nobody returns their cars to Warren Henry because they're always great cars. Join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price. Always the best service. Always Warren Henry.
It's time to stop the hate and spread some love. You are beautiful, you're smart, you are awesome, and you never have to change for anybody. You have the voice and you have the power. We are so much stronger when we come together. It's your choice, so choose to be inspired. Choose to be accepting, be strong, be brave, be awesome, be daring, be kind. Choose kindness.
Hey, everybody. Give me a call, Jim Freed, if I can help you with real estate capital. You need preferred equity. You need a stretch construction loan. You need a joint venture partner, either institutional or family office. Looking for urban land, need to sell urban land. Just need a creative approach to what you're working on. Reach out. Give me a call. I promise, when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're back with Olivia Ramos. Olivia is our artificial intelligence expert. She's also the founder of Deepblocks. She stretches my mind every time we get on the show because she always brings up stuff I haven't thought of. And isn't that what it's all about? Welcome back, Olivia.
Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome. I'll take a drink too now. So we were talking
Cheers.
about the impact of blockchain on commercial contracts. We're talking about the automation of these contracts. And let's pick up where we left off before, Olivia.
Yeah, we were discussing putting titles or deeds on the blockchain. This is something that would be done by a government entity that keeps track of these titles. And once it's on the blockchain, it's extremely easy to verify. It's extremely easy to transfer. You don't require an intermediary person to do this or a company to do this, and you can, you have, nobody can mess with it, so you won't have title theft or title copies or anything like that.
So then, fraud is a really big problem in real estate. People don't really realize it. This is a great way to prevent fraud. Now, let's take a step back for a moment. We're talking about creating a contract. The contract would be on the blockchain. It would be automated so that when we made the agreement, we'd all know what we were getting into, and it could travel with property and with me all the way down until the end of the agreement. And even if I was no longer involved with the property, the agreement would still be in the chain of title and on the blockchain, correctly?
That's right.
So what is another good use for this?
What about identification? So your ID, this is actually there are projects happening in Ethiopia and other countries in Africa that have a lot of issues with identification. I think eventually it'll come to the US. So if we tokenize our identity, you can't have identity theft because now our identity can be verified. It's on a transparent ledger.
How would you tokenize somebody's identity? Would they have to carry it with them, or I'm going to really get Orwellian, might it be right here?
Could be right there in the future. I'm not sure. That might be another show. But
we
right
talked
now,
about it already. We talked about the suits and everything and all that other stuff, which, by the way, got mainstream when the dude changed the name for Facebook. High five to us for being 6 weeks earlier than him.
That's right. So yeah, in the future, and I mean, we can begin to speak about the metaverse at any time because that's really just the future reality. And you would need to have a verified ID in the metaverse. So everyone will have to have a verifiable digital ID, and putting that on the blockchain makes it the safest. And then there can be duplicates of it, and it will be immediately identified.
Well, it would be the tokenization of all of my presence on the internet. My avatar would be a token. The clothes that I would be wearing as the avatar would be a token. The place that I'm broadcasting from would be a token. Everything would be able to be tokenized, fractionalized, and protected in a very, very complete way. That's what we're talking about, right?
Right, but also in the real world. So right now, identity theft is huge. People start bank accounts with your name, or they, I don't know, have healthcare benefits that don't belong to them. There's like a whole number of things that are being done by stealing somebody's ID. So they wouldn't be able to do that if it's on the blockchain because everything will be verifiable by your wallet. They would have to get into your wallet and steal your wallet, and then
That's my wallet, though, right there.
No, not like a physical wallet. Your digital wallet.
Not like this.
No.
Not like this, but my digital wallet. So let's talk about that for a second, because obviously this is what I think of when I think of a wallet. So what's a digital wallet?
A digital wallet, for example, the Ethereum wallet MetaMask can hold your ID. And as long as nobody has access to your wallet, which should have a very safe password, you should be the only one to have that password, just like, bank account or anything like that, would have your ID would be on the blockchain. You could only create an ID on the blockchain through your MetaMask wallet, which has already verified that you're the real person. So somebody would have to It would be really difficult. It wouldn't be just copying your credit card number.
It would either be written. We'd either be read by my eye, or by my finger, or by the chip that's implanted just below the skin.
Yeah, but then
which is what it's going to end up being. Sorry, Orwell.
So, okay. The idea is, if we tokenize all of this, including, I mean, another use case is tokenization of voting. If we vote through the blockchain, we will only have one vote per person, and it would become impossible to, have votes of people that are not existent, or people would feel it's about really feeling good and certain that the real thing is happening, that nobody's stealing your ID, that nobody's stealing your vote, that nobody's stealing your assets. And that
so what that would really do is that would really address some of the rather bizarre conspiracy theories that are out there.
Right. You would have no need for those. Everything could be verifiable. Everything would be on the ledger. Everything would be, and it doesn't have to be public facing. It doesn't, you can verify IDs without having the name of the person. It could be through a code. So,
sure, everybody would be issued a unique code. It happens now. Whenever I'm authorizing one of my TVs on one of the streaming services, they send a code to my phone, and then I have to type the code into my phone, and then magically it comes right up on my TV screen.
Right. The issue is, if it's not on a ledger, that can't be. Right now, it's on a centralized place where it's really difficult to check if somebody's ID is real or not, or somebody's deed is real or not. It takes a very long time. So for if it's on the blockchain, then all of that goes away.
Well, look, the reality is that we've been working towards that minimally right now with the TSA and with Clear, as we work to get an even more seamless way to get on these planes. I think that the blockchain ID is going to become more and more valuable. I can't wait to just be able to walk through and have it scan me and just not even stop. I don't really mind that. And I got to tell you, I don't really think implanting something under my hand or right over here is really going to make a big difference. Well, maybe over here, you give me a little, swelling or something.
Yeah, and you might not need to implant anything. I mean, I just met a founder of a company. Your palm of your hand is unique to you. So you could, there are many ways with your physical body that you have unique IDs already, unique identifiers.
Well, we're going to come right back. We're going to talk about other unique identifiers with Olivia, and we're going to talk about where does this get us all in the future. Stay with us. We're going to talk to Olivia Ramos, my artificial intelligence expert, the founder of Deepblocks. Olivia, thank you so much for hanging out and doing one more segment with us. Mr. Mendoza, time for you to do your thing. Hi, everybody. This is Jim Freed. Remember to reach out to me anytime you want. And also remember, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you got to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. They're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. What does that mean? Well, that's a whole list of services that you get. And where do you get those services? One of their stores. Where are their stores, you say? Well, there's one up on 151st and Biscayne. That one sells Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. Down in the Keys, they've got a store that sells all their great nameplates. And up in Gainesville, they've got one that sells Audis. What do all those places have in common? What do all those cars have in common? They're all great cars. And they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. That's a whole big list of things that you get when you buy your car. It includes the fact that they'll replace those really expensive keys that they sell now, like $100 a pop if you lose them. They'll make sure that you get the best price for your car. Even if they don't sell you one, they'll buy it from you and they'll guarantee you the best price. And if you do buy from them, you get 3 days, 72 hours to make sure that your car is good for you, that you like it. And if you don't, guess what? You can return it. Nobody returns their cars because they don't like them. They're tremendous cars. Join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, lots and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price. Always the best service. Always Warren Henry.
Hey, this is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
All right. You know, Rebecca Carlson and her team are tremendous. They work for me and with me and a lot of my clients. She does great work. I highly recommend Rebecca Carlson. And reach out to me. Give me a call, DM me if I can help you with real estate. I help lots of families execute their plan. I was on the phone today with a group that's got 2 apartment projects in South Florida. We're going to help them get pref equity, a stretch construction loan. When we're done, they won't even need to put in more than 2, 3, 4% of the entire cost of the project to get it done. If that's something that might interest you, give me a call. Creative financing, creative capital, that's my specialty. Reach out to me. Why? Because whenever you do, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're back with Olivia Ramos. It's our final segment. Olivia, welcome back to the show. Olivia is our artificial intelligence expert. She's the founder of Deepblocks. She always brings topics to the show that help me think outside the box. Welcome back, Olivia Ramos.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
All right. So I want to take this to kind of the future and have a picture and see what you think about the impact of the future of tokenization and smart contracts on the real estate professionals specifically.
Okay.
So tokenization and smart contracts allow for security of information, fractional ownership, and better transactions. Okay, that's what we've discussed in the show. Imagine a future in which anyone can put up their asset for sale in a marketplace and sell whatever percentage they want from it. What's going to happen, in your opinion, to the role of the broker and the realtor if everyone is doing real estate transactions in digital marketplaces?
Well, I think that they'll still be needed. I think that somebody will need to explain things to people. I think that there'll be a need for people to get comfortable. These are complex situations that I think people are going to need to understand in a greater detail than just taking a look. And I think that everybody thought that we'd get there with the Jobs Act a number of years ago. And guess what? We didn't. Okay. Now, that said, there are platforms that did survive all of that carnage that came with the Jobs Act and the companies that opened up with that. And today, I think that the survivors are doing really well. Places like Yield Street are able to go and raise capital for clients in this sort of Jobs Act way, where they go out and they democratize the ability to invest in the real estate. But you do have an intermediary. The intermediary brings everything together, manages it, handles questions, and also disseminates the information to likely buyers on a bulk basis so that there's a higher likelihood that the execution will be successful. How they do.
Okay, so I'm not sure I agree with you, and I would love to know if the exchange becomes the intermediary and the exchange provides all the information required for the buyer and the seller to understand how it works. What is the role of the broker? Like, what information can they add when everything's already provided by the exchange?
It's really not provided by the exchange. All that is really data. Somebody's going to need to interpret that for people. People, I think, are not sophisticated enough to buy a share in an office building. It would be an emotional purchase, not one that's well thought out. Now, I think that the way that could work would be that a large institution buys a lot of the shares and then distributes them to people that are within their sphere of influence that they've already pre-qualified, and those people have already qualified that they'd be interested in something that's managed by them. It's called being an owner's rep. You're going to still need an owner's rep. Somebody's still going to need to be a rep. Look, today, anybody can go on to Fidelity or any one of these, E-Trades or whatever, and do everything they want. Does everybody do that? No. Many of them still use intermediaries. Many of them pay simply for the comfort of dealing with somebody who knows what's going on in the sector. They don't know what's going on. They think they do, but they don't want to get tricked. They read a lot of things. They think a lot of things. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're wrong. I'm sorry. The ability to understand what's going on and to evaluate the risk involved is not something that a computer will be able to do. They'll be able to profile it. They'll be able to give you charts, but they may even evaluate the charts. They may even rebalance your portfolio for you. But you'll also should be able to do that yourself. And I think a lot of people are going to want to do that. So while I think it's a great idea and a great place to be, I think that I still want to see the early adopters make a marketplace and make it successful before I'm going to say that it's a tremendous way that everybody's going to do it. Remember, it's going on right now at places like Yield Street. It's just a matter of time before successful models are rolled out. But remember, the people that are using Yield Street are using an intermediary. You invest in Blackstone, you're using an intermediary. So I think that there's going to be collection points where the intermediaries will add value because they're already thinking about what value they're going to add and how they're going to do it. Because we're thinking about them doing it, so they're way ahead of us. I know you may disagree with that because you're always talking about automation.
Automatization.
Yeah,
well, no, I disagree with it because I feel like people are more sophisticated that we're giving them credit for, and information is readily available. And if you take the time, you can understand better. There are many cryptocurrency projects that don't have intermediaries that tons of people are making. There's a project right now that it's between 5,000% and 10,000% a year. So these younger generations, and I don't even think they're younger generations, they're more the kind of blockchain crypto generations.
What they're doing is they're arbitraging the circumstances. Okay, if you're making 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000%, it's an arbitrage. It's an information arbitrage because there's not a lot of people participating, or it's at the real hockey stick part of it. It's not stabilized yet.
Maybe that's
that was a little bit out there.
Case. I'm sorry about that. They do exist, and people are investing in it. It's fine.
I know they exist.
That's not the point. The point is
investing, and I'm watching generations tokenize their stuff. And I'm not disagreeing with any of it.
Let me just say, new generations are investing through Robinhood without an intermediary. They're investing in cryptocurrencies without intermediaries. And if everything moves forward to the blockchain, I believe that you're going to be able to do real estate transactions without intermediaries. And it wouldn't be we're not talking about transactions in the conventional way. You're not buying a piece of land. You're buying a token of a piece of land. You're buying a derivative of that piece of land. So
yeah, let's take a step back because you just used the word and I want to stop you. Okay. You used the word derivative. So let's use the word derivative like a financial instrument for just a minute. And the riskiest financial instruments are derivatives because it's impossible to really understand the total risk profile if you're an amateur. And what you're talking about here is allowing amateurs to invest in commercial real estate that don't know what they're doing. And those people have an opportunity to get burned. And their lack of experience is going to allow people to take advantage of them. And I think without a tour guide in this universe, a lot of people are going to get crushed. The people that are making a lot of the money now in blockchain and in cryptocurrency, look, you got the mayor of Miami offering to give everybody in the city a book with a blockchain. They haven't decided what that really means yet. But, you know, I'd be interested to see what that was. He's apparently earned $21 million already. And he's looking to distribute that. I'd be interested to see how he does that.
yes, but what we're really discussing is, will there be a need for guidance, for human guidance? Will there need?
100%. I believe that there will be.
The fact that you believe it so strongly, I feel that's what makes me so concerned. Like,
Concerned about what?
why do you think that whatever a person can offer and as an expert opinion can't just be generated? Like, whatever a person can offer is based on hopefully data and not just intuition. And if
so
that's
wrong.
the case,
That's so
okay.
wrong. That's so wrong.
Tell me.
The
Tell
real
me, tell
estate
me,
business is driven by gut instinct. Okay.
Oh.
Everybody has the same. Oh, you're saying no, but you're so wrong. You see,
Oh.
you're wrong on this one.
Instinct
You're wrong.
based
I'm on the
on-
phone
okay.
calls. I'm on the phone calls. I'm on the phone calls.
I'm
And
not
so-
going to
and
say
so people-
anything about.
People today are, you know, real estate is driven by gut. Listen, these people come down here from New York and they just roll and they're just using their gut instinct. They don't know what's going on in this market, no matter how much data they see. Remember, data is a trailing indicator. You've got to show me a leading indicator before I'm going to really believe in all this.
So, okay. So, for example, at Deepblocks, we're working on machine learning models to predict growth and to break down why that growth is being predicted, right?
Correct. And let's talk
Isn't
about that for a minute. Oh, let's talk about that
hold
for a
on.
minute.
No, wait. But isn't that the same as intuition? Isn't your intuition based on, I'm seeing these patterns of behavior, I'm seeing these movements in society that leads me to believe that in the next 5 to 10 years, this is the neighborhood I need to invest in? It's data. You're just not breaking it down. Everything that you think it's intuition, it's data that you're taking for
hold
granted.
on and take a step back for a minute, because real estate is an art form that's driven by data, but it's still an art form. Okay. Because I can tell you right now that you can give me all the data in the world and it could say that this idea works. But if I put the idea in the wrong place and design it the wrong way, I'm not going to achieve the projections that you're making.
But the wrong place, it being the wrong place, is also a data point. Why is it the wrong place? Why is it the wrong place?
Not necessarily.
Give me an example of why it would be a wrong place.
What?
Give me an example of a situation where it would be the right product in the wrong place and how that's not converted into a data point.
I can show you lots of office buildings that are in the wrong place right now. They're going to have to be.
Why? Because there's too much inventory already?
No, because there's a lot of different reasons. It may be obsolete, functionally obsolete. It may be locationally obsolete. You want to see something that's locationally obsolete? Go drive down 29th Street. Go from east to west and stop when you get to Wynwood, and you'll see stuff that's functionally obsolete that your data point should be sold last year, but the guy won't sell. He's making an irrational decision. It's not consistent with the data points. I'm not going to say what it is. Let's get in the car and I'll show it to you. Happens all the time. All the time. The guy goes, I'll sit this one out and wait for the next one, no matter what the data says, because he has what I refer to as the other agenda. You can't predict who has the other agenda. And the other agenda drives real estate a whole lot. Lots of things happen that don't make any sense. and end up working or not working. A lot of times it's driven by inconsistent government policies. Ooh, that's a topic for another day. Okay. But let me tell you what your stuff really is tremendous for that I've used in the past. And let's give a great example. When I ran for city commission, we talked about Edgewater. We talked about how Edgewater has 100,000 units that they could build there, and they've only built 50,000. Now, I guess it's probably 60. But the point is that we were able to determine what should be done. It didn't tell us exactly where, but it did tell us what. And those little bricks can be moved around. How? By political influence. That's not predicted in your machine.
But it could be actually. You can predict political influence. For example, if you look at the deltas between the zoning allowance and what's been built in the last 10 years, whether it's below that delta or above that delta, you could tell if a city is more flexible or more conservative on their policies. And you can make investment decisions across hundreds of cities based on that data point alone.
So how are you going to do that in Minneapolis where they just passed rent control? You didn't know they were going to do rent control 4 years ago when you bought your building?
No.
Back to you. This is tremendous, by the way. You're so smart. I love debating this stuff with you.
You know what? I disagree. I think such a decision maybe could have been predicted. If that was of interest and you look at cities that have rent control and you look at policies that led to that point, you might be able to predict future cities that will have rent control.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I'm not saying it's impossible.
Well, first of all, let me just say the word. We're going to have to develop a very complex, multivariate, multilinear equation to be able to figure that one out. But I guess we're going to have to save that one for the next time. You know, I love it when we end up sparring like this. It's a great roll into the next one. You know, I want to thank Olivia Ramos today. She's my favorite guest. I love crossing swords with the ideas and pulling out the best in her every time. Olivia, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for what you bring to our community and other communities by your involvement and your ability to present predictive models. And by the way, the delta in the different cities, well, that's really tremendous and a wonderful thing to be able to use on another show. We could talk about that for hours. I want to thank our guest, Olivia Ramos. I want to thank our sponsors, DeepBlocks, the University of Florida Center for Real Estate Studies, of course, Warren Henry. I want to thank Regan Mendoza, Mr. Mendoza, for running the show. I want to thank you, our listeners and viewers, for being here with us. Remember, I'm Jim Freed, and we'll be back next week with another wonderful edition of Freed on Business. We go live at 12 noon on Wednesdays, and we're available on all the different platforms, and you can always find us anywhere if you really want to. And remember, the person that wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Mr. Mendoza, it's time again for you.